Oh boy! Welcome back to another episode of the Josh Potter Show. Guess what, folks? July 13th, Chicago just added it. Make sure you go to thejoshpotter.com, get tickets for that because it just went on sale and it's up on the website, thejoshpotter.com. Other than that, folks, make sure you keep sending in stuff. I got so many Roach Reporters out there sending in stuff, new ones, old ones. I mean, golly, the box is getting full. It's unbelievable. So keep sending them in. The articles have been fantastic. And today, oh my Lord, I'm so excited. We have an absolute legend here in the Roach Motel today, inside the Comedy Store Studios. And it's an appropriate person to have in the Comedy Store Studios. I mean, hell, you helped build this place.
That's true. That's
like,
true.
quite literally. I mean, and figuratively, but also literally. It's Yakov Smirnoff, folks.
Hi.
Oh, my Lord.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thanks for doing it. This is crazy.
I was walking around today like it's like deja vu, you know, going back and looking at things that my dad, Mitzi, gave a job to my dad as a carpenter here.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you built the belly room, right?
Yeah. And I was walking around the kitchen or the bar area, and there's this place where we put for all different employees to put their clothes. We built it from scratch. And it's like a memorial to my dad.
That's still there.
Yeah, it's still there.
I know, the little lockers, cubby system over there.
Yeah.
The one thing they did change the stairs going up to the belly room in the back. I don't know if that's but they just changed it like 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
So they lasted, 50 some odd years. Those stairs.
Yeah. I'll take the credit.
Good. No, that's. I mean, have you been up? You've been up there today and recently,
today,
right?
Yeah. I went there just to see because I was walking around during the day. It's all dark, and just like I used to work here during that time when everybody was sleeping.
Right.
And I would come in and I would do painting and building.
Unbelievable. And you did comedy. For those who don't, I mean, you were worried people wouldn't know. I wouldn't mind reminding people, but I can't imagine anybody doesn't know. You were doing comedy in the Soviet Union.
That's correct.
Which, I mean, some people do comics come up to you now and they go like, I get it, man.
They can cancel you, and that's the beginning of that.
Yeah, sure. The canceling is the beginning of it. But you were like, canceling in Soviet Union meant you'd end up in the ground, or in a river or something.
Or far away somewhere.
Well, far away, in heaven probably. But
it was not an easy thing because we were censored. The government censored every joke that we would tell. And once they approve it, then you have it for a year. So you can't improvise. You have to just stick with the script.
Interesting.
Yes.
Was there any of the censors out there that were like, I think I could punch this one up a little bit, actually? They give you a
No. They were very much the government, the communist staunch, no. That's not good. Okay, all right, fine. And then once they agreed, they give you a license. You kind of have to play by their rule, and you're touring around the country, but you're just basically repeating the same thing.
Do you have any of these people coming up to you now, though, and comparing what's happening now to like in this whole? I mean, I don't really subscribe to I feel like I haven't. I could say whatever the hell I want other than, YouTube terms of service out there. They get on my case for a couple of things here and there, but I wouldn't never compare that kind of thing with what you had to deal with
not
back
even
then.
Close. No, close.
But is there people out there that are trying?
Yeah, I guess, it depends if you're pushing the envelope, because I learned not to.
Sure.
I learned just stay between the lines and you'll be fine. That came with mother's milk,
Right.
It's like, don't start anything,
Sure.
and you want to test it backstage on your friends, but don't do it in front of the audience.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it probably helped you when you came here to sort of do both things, ride the line and then also push now you're learning how to push the envelope once you're in America, right? A little bit, or was it just easier?
It depends. You pick the envelope. I live in Branson, Missouri, right? I've been there for 32 years. They have an envelope. It's a very Bible Belt Christian place. So you kind of learn if you want. I entertained over 6 million people there. And I knew that if I play dirty or if I do something that they don't like, then they will not come to the shows.
Interesting.
And it's such a small community. It's a town of 10,000 people, so it's kind of like the Department of Jokes, the town itself. And then you have to stay with what they believe is okay.
Right. You have to kind of stay within their sensibilities.
If you want to make a living.
Sure,
if you don't want to, nobody's going to kill you, but you're not gonna succeed.
Yeah, at some point, planting your flag and being like, I want them to think differently. It's like, yeah, but you're gonna starve then in that case.
That's right.
Yeah. So I mean, you pick your poison. I guess.
Which is probably, Bud Light was learning that.
Sure.
They went farther than that audience wanted them to go.
Right.
And they learned,
Sometimes I wonder if that's like some weird, obviously we know the inner workings of all that now, but I always wondered if I'm like, are they doing this on purpose? Because everyone's talking about Bud Light. Sure, they're not buying it at the moment, but it's out there in the news. Yeah, I don't know. I always wonder that kind of thing.
Yeah, conspiracy theories are, I would agree that you want to look behind that magic trick and go, what did really happen?
Yeah.
And then you go, oh yeah, I noticed that or whatever. But
now I was curious. I mean, like I mentioned, you've been here since the beginning of the Comedy Store, essentially. Yes. I mean, you saw now when you come around these days, how much has it changed? How much is it the same? I mean, it's the same building, everything. I mean, now you see this basement. What was this room before? When
it was a lot of junk in here, a lot of junk. That's where we would just store things here. There's nothing. Tables, chairs, whatever was broken, it would come here. So, no, but I'll tell you, the spirit, though, is still here. I mean, I felt it today. I was walking around kind of like admiring a place that gave birth to that wave of comedy, a comedy boom, and then continues to be that way, which is amazing.
And you're immortalized not only on the wall outside, like we all kind of get here, but also you're like the neon sign guy. I mean, that's great. You're like one of the few guys up there that, I mean, hell, you look great. I know you're up there, but you look great. You're killing it. The rest of those guys are dead. You're like one of the alive guys.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that makes me a winner of that
you won
contest.
That one,
yeah. I'm alive, so please come see my shows.
Hell yeah. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Now you've been in America, I would say, probably longer than you were in Soviet Union.
Very much so, yes.
So I mean, my father is also an immigrant, and he, like I say to him too, I go, you've been. He talks about it all the time, and you're like, you've lived here. Well, he moved here when he was 17. I'm like, you've been here way longer than you've been over there. So, yes. I mean, but it obviously has an impact. I was just curious. Now, what are your favorite parts about America in terms of just like, I'm not even saying like on a spiritual or like a sort of any sort of gravitas level. I'm talking about like, little things like, do you like baseball? Do you like, Budweiser, something like that.
Well, okay. I'm not into sports, so it was never part of my life. So that's not it. I think the biggest thing for me in America is that you can, and I know it sounds cliche, but you can dream, not just dream. American dream, in my opinion, is still alive. Mm-hmm. A lot of people mess with it. A lot of people don't like it because it makes it very unique. And I worry about American dream because, I mean, there's forces that trying to the whole COVID thing was the most damaging thing to American dream that I could imagine. It wasn't just because people were ill, because the spirit was being killed, literally killed. and you realize that I grew up with that.
Sure.
I was 26 when I came to America, so I remember how that spirit wasn't alive. The whole country, it wasn't alive, and if anybody showed a little bit of the initiative of that spirit, they would be put away like that.
Interesting. Yeah, and I mean, we didn't get put away, but got pretty quieted if you talked out against it there.
Yeah. What
kind of American dream are you talking? Like the 2 house, 2 car, or the 1 house, 2 cars kind of thing?
No, it's bigger. It's whatever you want, whatever you dream about. Like I've been doing this for many years, and I've been very successful. And I own 2,000-seat theater in Branson, Missouri, where I entertain over 6 million people, and I could be totally content with being there and make a good living and entertain people. But I believe that what you and I are talking about right now is under attack, and it needs to. A person like myself, I believe, has potentially an opportunity to help young people to understand it better, what that is.
Do you ever talk to them about the American dream, and then they're like, "I know what you're saying," and then their dream is to be a TikTok influencer?
If that's,
yeah. but they're doing it though.
But the point is that if that's what their dream is, more power to them. I don't see limitation of that dream. It's like, no, you only can win this way.
Right.
No, I see it's more, you want it, you put your mind to it, go for it.
Yes, that's right, kids. You too can TikTok influence out there. Get those dance moves going. You just got to grind every day, right? Post.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh boy, today's Josh Potter Show is brought to us by Huel. Do you not have enough time for a complete balanced meal? See, for me, I have all the time in the world, and I just dread the idea of making a complete balanced meal. I'm like, oh God, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and then I gotta clean up after. No, not with Huel. Huel, oh my God, Huel is how you spell it. Boy, oh boy. I just get this black edition right here. Pound this guy. Go. Oh, my Lord. It's the black edition ready to drink meal in a bottle. 35 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, and it's low in sugar. So I'm getting a complete balanced meal, and I don't even have to think about it anymore. It's unbelievable. And not only is it a perfectly balanced meal, it's incredibly affordable, my friend. Huel is the global complete nutritional brand, and it's got over 500 million meals sold. And for new customers shopping at Huel.com, you can try it for 15% off. Plus, you're going to get a free gift using my exclusive code. It's Potter at Huel.com. Once again, that's 15% plus a free gift for new customers using my exclusive code. Potter at Huel.com. Please see the description for terms and conditions. Unlock a healthier, easier way to eat with Huel. Nutritionally complete meals in minutes so you can focus on what really matters. Now, you said you didn't like sports. I love when people come.
No, I didn't say I didn't like it. I was just not into it.
Oh, of course.
I don't
and
understand.
That's okay. I love when people come on the show and they aren't into sports because I try to introduce some things to them.
Please.
I always love it. And I'd have many people. You're not the first person to sit on that chair that, isn't into sports necessarily. You're saying it's not that you didn't like them. You're just not into them. I get that.
Yeah, I don't understand them. I mean, I don't understand why grown men, run around in tight jeans, whatever, and hit each other. It just wasn't. Soccer was what I grew up with.
Sure.
Not necessarily playing or being a huge fan, or hockey. But when I came to America and they used like a round bat to do stuff with that, to hit a round ball,
yeah,
it makes no sense to me.
Well, that's the best part about our sports here on this program is we don't talk about the bats hitting the balls. Yeah. We talk about some of the stuff on the periphery.
Okay.
So let's get into some of the sports now, shall we?
Yeah.
Beep, 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 beep. Beep 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 beep.
So this guy, we're going to watch here. This isn't about hitting the balls or the bats, but I love, because I went to school for broadcasting. So I love the broadcast. I take apart every little piece of it. I love when the guys are in the booth and they're talking to each other, the music of their voices together. They throw it down to the sideline, just the production of it all.
Yeah,
and some of them are very bad and some of them are very good. And recently, the Atlanta Braves were playing up in Toronto, Canada. And shout out. In the studio audience, I never had a person cheer for a location. That's great. My sister was actually at this game up in Toronto, but the Braves were up there and their broadcast team, you know, you have to fill time in a baseball game. I'm sure. I don't know if you've ever watched a full baseball game, but there's a lot of downtime.
I've been invited to several years ago, and then people who invited me realized that I ain't gonna change, so they don't need to take me there. You know,
that's funny. I'd imagine back in the day they probably invite you out there, like, oh, this guy, you know, he loves America. This is, you know,
and
you're like,
I was doing jokes. When you have 4 balls, you walk. How can you run with 4 balls? Of course you walk. You walk proud. You know?
You gotta walk with 4 balls. That's great. So yeah, they're trying to kill some time up here because it's going, you know. However, it's a 4-0 game here, and it turns out it's the 5th inning, and they throw it to the sideline reporter who ends up talking to a couple of Canadian women. Can we watch the tape?
A lot of fun up here up the Corona rooftop. Who do we got here? What's your name?
My name's Lauren.
Lawrence, all right.
And I'm Kayla.
Kayla, and you guys hang out at the rooftop lounge often?
Once a year I come out to visit.
Okay, well, we timed it pretty well. All right, good. How are you guys feeling about rooting for the Braves today?
Oof, I don't know. I'm hoping for the best.
Now, can you pause it for a second?
Are you a Braves fan now?
This guy's not talking to this. These people aren't like dignitaries or as famous. He's just talking to 2 random ladies up in there. It's like, what purpose does this serve?
He was hitting on them.
Well, it's about to get even. And by the way, he seems nervous, right? Like he is hitting on them because he
wasn't sure which one.
Yeah, he's trying to play it out. This is like a guy at a bar that we're trying to watch here. Yeah, it's like a fishbowl experience.
That's it.
I mean, he's so nervous. The first woman goes, "My name's Lauren," and he goes, "Lawrence."
Yeah.
That's wild. Getting the name wrong.
Keep going.
But it escalates here.
What about you? Are you a Braves fan now?
Not quite.
Not quite. All right, I'm gonna go to work up here, guys. Good luck the rest of the way.
Okay, Wiley. You got 4 innings to get the numbers.
Come on it.
Get us some more Braves fans.
All right. So
these girls don't know what the hell the other guy. Oh, look at that. So now he's.
They want you to get my.
I'm dead serious. They're saying in my ear right now. She didn't believe me because she thinks you guys are not. I'm making this up. Even if you guys weren't, I might use that in the future. That's actually a pretty good move.
This is unbelievable. So the best part of this right now is that Wiley could totally be faking it. This might be the new move. Just walk around with a FanDuel microphone and an earpiece in and convince fans that they're actually on TV.
Yeah. Also, there's a baseball game happening right now. Yeah. Like, that's not just like downtime. We just watched a single happen during that entire thing. That's crazy. And they're worried about this guy hitting on this girl.
I think he's just trying to get to first base or second base.
Yeah. They're like, a single on the field, but a double up in the booth where Wiley is. Today's Josh Potter Show is brought to us by Home Chef. These days, it can feel like there's no price difference between eating out or staying in, what with grocery costs being what they are. The only options that seem affordable are unhealthy, and even those aren't affordable. It's crazy when you're getting fast food and you're like, I'm spending $60 on a fast food. This is banana land. But at Home Chef, you can save money and eat healthier with their fresh, delicious meal kits delivered straight to your door. It's unbelievable. Users of leading meal kits, they have rated Home Chef #1 in quality, convenience, value, taste, and recipe ease. We were talking about the unaffordable, unhealthy options. Oh my God. Sometimes you just go, I just don't want to get up. I don't want to go anywhere. I just want it to come to my door. And now you're paying through the nose on something on your apps or what have you. Not with Home Chef. For a limited time, Home Chef offering my listeners 18 free meals, plus you're going to get free dessert for life, and of course, free shipping on your first box. Just go to homechef.com/Potter. That's homechef.com/Potter, and you're going to get 18 free meals and free dessert for life. 18 free meals for the Roach over here. That's like a month of eating, pretty much. Homechef.com/Potter. You must be an active subscriber to receive the free dessert. Now, this played on the internet. Obviously, it went pretty viral, and people were like, this is a funny little moment, LOL, ha ha ha. But every female sports reporter in the country is up in arms over this.
Really?
They're like, if this was me, I'd be fired in 2 seconds. Which, what I say, I don't think that's the case.
I don't see that.
Yeah,
at
I don't know
all.
why they're so upset. I think they're just like, oh my Lord, the massage. It went viral extra.
Really?
First, it went viral for being like, haha, this is funny.
Yeah.
And then it went double viral for being like, this guy should be shit canned and all this other thing. Isn't that wild?
Wow.
And I mean,
no double standards, huh?
It's no double standards at all. But I mean, I just thought it was interesting that I thought it was a cute moment that this guy did this, and then women are like, I would love for a women broadcaster to go around and be like, hey, what's up? Can I get your number? Just women in general. Can we do that more, please? Yeah, it's like, women aren't going around doing that, period, let alone.
But you know, with the women today can pretty much do everything that men does. So why would they be fired if they did that?
I don't know. This is where it gets to be a sticky wicket, because the women in sports, it's much like women in comedy. They're like surrounded by men all the time. They're in a man's field, they say.
Yeah.
So they're always fighting this internal battle that I don't think exists necessarily. But who am I to say? I'm a guy. What do I know? But it's like they're fighting some sort of turmoil in their brains all the time.
What do you think it is?
I think it's like trying to overcompensate, because they've convinced themselves this is a man's world. I have to like sort of acquiesce, and I have to, be more like them to a degree, but also keep my womanhood and fight for this or that. And I don't think it's going that crazy anymore.
It's very confusing, and a lot of people, I got my I got into this topic pretty heavily I went for a divorce, and I wanted to understand what happened.
With your wife?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yeah, my ex-wife.
Right.
And we had, so I started noticing a pattern, how many unhappy people are there, not just women, men as well. And so I got my doctorate. I got my master's degree at University of Pennsylvania, and I was researching laughter. What I noticed that during the beginning of the relationship, people laugh a lot together, and then when we were going for divorce, the attorneys were laughing, nobody else, right? So I started asking my audience, and it's like I have a laboratory of laughter in Branson. So I go, how many of you remember laughter in the beginning of the relationship? They all clap. And then I go, how many of you would go on a second date if you didn't have laughter on the first date? No one. Yeah, so subconsciously we use that. And I believe, just like comedians, we understand the role of the audience and the role of the performer. So there is this dance. There is this, I lead, you follow. I lead, you follow. When you start to lead, when you're supposed to be the audience, that's called heckling.
Right.
So there is a conflict, right? And so I saw it as kind of a broad picture, but the more I got my master's degree at UPenn, and then I got doctorate degree here in Pepperdine, because my dissertation was called Law of Laughter. I just graduated in 2017.
Wow.
Yeah. So but I was so determined to figure this out, and people, I think there's a lot of information out there, and because we're confused in our roles, in which role we used to be for thousands of years, there used to be a very strict role.
Sure.
Men do this, women do that, and whether they like it or not, that's it. Then in 1945, after the Second World War ended, it all started changing and changing. And people just don't know. It's like driving on the freeway, and we don't know which lane are you going to be in. So I'm just going to stay in the middle.
Not only that, now here in 2025, you got guys being like, babe, can you drive? Like, that's the dude saying it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the role is reversed willingly.
Willingly. And it's happening because we don't know which part we're supposed to play.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I think you're having this conflict, internal conflict.
Sure.
That's like, which role do I want? But we don't define it. We don't know anymore.
Yeah.
So
it's
I
too
want
blurry.
everything.
And there's a lot of chaos surrounding that.
Yeah. Think about this, like in the 30 years ago, for a woman to approach a guy was not necessarily cool. I mean,
yeah, you'd be like, who's this floozy over here?
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
But now it's totally acceptable. Here's my number. Call me.
Now some people don't get laid without that happening.
You got to get laid, then you go on the first date.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you studied laughter, you said.
I said the relationship, but laughter was my way in.
I see. But I'm saying, I don't know if this is something that came up in your studies. I think it always is funny. And this is Harrison. Look at this next video of Harrison Bader here coming up. You could write a dissertation on how this always gets people laughing.
Well, Splitter, that was a pretty good one, and Bader just got a piece of it.
He might need a little bit of a breather afterwards after this foul tip. That's a good split below the zone, but
ooh, getting hit in the balls always makes people laugh, huh?
Protection.
Hopefully, most outfielders don't.
Okay, explain that to me.
So, what happened was he hit the ball,
yeah,
and it bounced off the ground, and then it hit him in the balls. And then this is where broadcasts become, oh, you missed it. It's right there. See, there you go.
Oh, shoot.
It goes right.
That hurts.
And so this is where the announcers, you find out who's an adult and who isn't really. Because they have a moment. I'm not either. I would have been talking about it all the time. I've been like, a splitter, more, yeah, definitely split something there, So I would be
That's what it's called, splitter.
That was the pitch that the guy just had there. He threw a splitter and he goes, there's a splitter. Watch, go back and play it again for us so we can hear the audio. So listen to these guys. Now they can ignore that this happened.
Right.
And say, oh, it got a piece of him too. They're making little LOLs. Now, they're looking at each other in the booth and they're like, you know what I'm saying? And some of them have no couth whatsoever. And that would be me. And then some of them, they try to do a little aside. They're trying to they're not adult enough to just laugh about it out loud.
Yeah.
They're trying to stifle it. Yeah. And that's what we get a little bit of here. Check this out.
Well, Splitter, that was a pretty good one, and Bader just got a piece of it.
He might need a little bit of a breather afterwards after this foul tip.
The foul tip, split. Yeah, tip was, you got more than a tip there, partner. That's
That's why you wear protection.
Hopefully. Most outfielders don't. And
maybe he didn't.
Safe to say that he did not.
He's having a moment here.
Need a minute.
They were laughing.
They're laughing now. Right now, they're laughing. Yeah. He's having a great old time after getting hit there. And the trainer's going to come out to check and see if Harrison can still have children.
And he continues to play after.
Oh, yeah. He just kind of brushed off. He went,
woo!
Yeah. Most outfielders don't wear cups. Usually it's the infield folk that wear cups because, they're getting a lot of... The outfielders don't have the threat of a ball usually hitting them in the crotch area.
Off,
yeah, exactly. So this one was that's why they're like, oh, Harrison, hopefully he's wearing protection, right?
How often does that happen?
It doesn't happen as often as one would think.
One.
Yeah. I mean, hell, I bet if that happened every day, you'd watch more baseball, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Even I might get into it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, like I mentioned before the show, we don't get too political usually on the program, and we don't really bring up the president very often, but the vice president.
That's a fair game.
Well, once in a while we bring him up. He just welcomed the championship Florida. I forget, is this the Gators or is this the the football, I forget even, Ohio State won the football national championship. So he's welcoming Ohio State to the White House, or he's at least there just like taking a photo with them. They won the national championship this year for college football, and he's holding the trophy here. Let's see what occurs. Here he is holding the trophy. Oh, let's take a picture. Oh, no, the trophy. I mean, this thing, they're throwing that thing around on the field after a game and stuff. How does he break it? I feel like they did him dirty there. Or he just held it from the wrong part. Okay, let's just hold this part. Yeah, that's fine. We can Photoshop the rest in later. Boy, oh boy. And then, turns out J.D. Vance killed the Pope today. Did you see that?
Wait, what happened?
The Pope died right after J.D. Vance visited him.
What wasn't? Wait, the Pope died today?
The Pope died this morning, I think. I mean, it was
after Easter Sunday.
I thought it was Easter. I sat there. I go, the Pope died on Easter. That's a little. Come on, you're not supposed to do that, Pope.
Easter Monday.
It was the day after. It was 7 a.m. Italy time, right?
Oh my goodness! And I watched something. I got in late last night, and it was like 2:00 in the morning, and they were showing the whole. The expose about the Pope, and I'm thinking, well, that's strange because that's already Monday,
right? You thought it was an Easter thing?
Yeah, I didn't realize. Oh, wow!
No, he did wait till after Easter. You can't take away from Jesus' shine on Easter. I mean, that'd be crazy. Right. Yeah. So I mean, he waited till after Easter, you know. But have you ever seen the show Hard Knocks on HBO?
No, I live in Branson, Missouri. We don't get HBO. No,
I mean, we don't get HBO. No. There's a show on there though called Hard Knocks, and they go in depth into like the front office of a football team, and it shows a documentary. I want a Hard Knocks style program about how they get the new pope, the selection.
I think was it Da Vinci Code, the movie or the book.
Well, they just had Conclave too. The one with Ralph Fiennes recently.
I didn't see that, but
it was boring.
Well, Da Vinci Code was not, and it was showing the inner. And actually, I think there was a sequel to that, the Angels and Demons. Yes. I think that was like really pretty good, interesting stuff there. How they select the Pope, how they send the smoke signals there. It's supposed to be white smoke, and if they don't come up with the new pope, that's black smoke.
Right.
And they lock them from it's kind of like the Soviet Union. They lock them from the outside, so they can't get out until they get the pope.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, in this, I fell asleep during many parts of Conclave, but it was a wild, it's like all like, who's going to be the pope? And they're all like, talking shit on each other, and you know, it's crazy. I wonder what's going on in there now. I want to see it. I want to watch it. What is this old Conclave movie poster? Who's that? Ralph Fiennes?
Yes.
You know, wait. Can I something about Ralph Fiennes? His name is Ray. Is it Ray Fiennes? Am I losing my mind? The Mandela effect here.
It's Ralph. Ralph Fiennes.
No. I'm telling you, it's spelled Ralph, but it's said Rafe or something like that.
Maybe because he's English.
It's something, dude. I'm telling you, because he was nominated for an Academy Award for this, and they were saying his name, and I go, I thought it was Ralph Fiennes this whole time, and I'm looking, I'm like, it says Ralph here, doesn't it? And it's not. So it's a Berenstain Bears thing, maybe. I don't know.
So it's not the movie you would recommend.
No, I mean, maybe someone a little smarter than me, a little more cultured than me can respect the process. And then I was talking to a couple of my pals about it, and it turns out at the end of this thing, the Pope that they select is trans. So I was like, okay, that's what a weird thing to throw in there. It's like that was the whole twist to the thing.
Wow.
And I was like, well, that seems like a whole.
Do you know?
So I'm excited for a new trans Pope though.
But do you realize that they never elected Pope who is left-handed?
What?
Yes.
I mean, I guess that's pretty good odds, right?
No, they literally don't want it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because left-handed, this is something.
Oh, he's
from
got to
my-
shake all those hands.
No, no. Has to do with corpus callosum, which is a part of the brain that connects left and right lobe. And if the male is left-handed, the corpus callosum is wider, just like women have. Right. So our politicians, a lot of them are left-handed.
Wow.
But no pope has been left-handed. So
Wow.
trans pope,
yeah, that's why it was so like crazy. It was like, oh, you figured it out?
Yeah, so it is pronounced Rafe, but it's spelled Ralph.
What I say, you doubted me, Lee.
I did.
Yeah, so I mean, that's interesting that they couldn't even have a left-handed pope, let alone a trans. Well, who knows what we're going to get this next time. We'll see when that white smoke comes out, right?
Yeah.
That'd be great. Wouldn't that be great if they passed people at the Comedy Store that way with some black or white smoke? That'd be fun. Little pomp and circumstance
Well,
involved.
it's kind of on the wall. It's in the white paint.
Yeah.
On the black surface. So if you made it in the white paint on the black surface, you made it.
That's true. And then you can argue the people that didn't get passed, they're on there, but they're in the black paint.
That's right. Maybe someday.
Maybe someday, indeed. Well, let's get to a couple of news topics, shall we? I'm glad see, that was all we did for sports there. That wasn't so bad, right?
No, it wasn't bad.
So this story here, let's see which one we want to do first. I know. Oh my goodness, this one is from Florida, and we get a lot of. Have you spent much time in Florida?
Yeah.
I mean, on the road and things like that.
Yes.
Odd place, wouldn't you say? If you were to assess all of America, give me your opinion of Florida in terms of relations with the rest of the country.
You mean because it looks like a phallic symbol?
Well, I mean, I guess it does too, in a topography sense.
Yeah.
But I'm saying just culturally, like Florida is just a little more, as an American, I would venture to guess, it would seem more wild there than the rest of the country.
It depends. I mean, if you're in the center of Florida, in the villages, that's STD. Yeah, STD haven. People in their 90s are so. But I traveled through Florida many different times, and I like West Coast Florida more than East Coast Florida. But
you're talking Tampa Bay, stuff like that?
Yeah, Sarasota. Naples, I like that. Naples is very manicured and it's older population, but I like it. And for me, it's still because it's cold in Missouri,
right?
So to me, Florida is like I can still perform around different clubs or theaters there and stay warm, basically.
Sure.
So. In terms of temperature, it wins.
Of course. That's what many people feel. So a lot of people go there, and I feel like a lot of people are born there, and the heat almost like fries their brains. They're doing bath salts, they're eating faces on the side of the road and things like that.
They have air conditioning,
That's true. I agree, but some people can't afford it, it seems, and they're out on the highway like zombies. I don't know what's going on.
You're going to different places in Florida.
That could very well be true.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon sent in this story. He's out in Florida. He lives in Polk County, Florida, which I'm not quite sure exactly where in Florida that is, but it involves our sheriff that we've had on this program many times, Grady Judd. So what this is Fox 13. Do you know what part of Florida this might be, Lee?
It's I think it's Orlando.
Ooh, Orlando. That's a good one. That's where the old mouse lives. Well, he says here, you had a story that included Sheriff Grady Judd. Well, here is another presser about a shooting in a local coffee shop. The gunman pistol whipped his mother at one point and then went to a coffee shop to shoot up the place. Also, we have your ideal reporter set up, a man at a news desk and a lady on site, just how God intended. Brandon. So let's watch it a little bit here. This is interesting.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm Chris Cato in for Mark Wilson.
And I'm Allie Corey. Thanks for being with us. We want to begin with that news alert out of Polk County tonight where a deputy and a Bartow police officer were both injured in a shooting. The gunman is dead. It happened along Polk Street near North Broadway Avenue. Let's get out to Fox 13's Carla Byron. She is live for us there at the scene tonight. And Carla, we know those law enforcement officers, they are expected to be okay.
Yeah, so Allie, this coffee shop here behind me, Banker's Brew, has been a crime scene now for several.
I don't see a coffee shop back there, do you? What does she have to do this right there? I don't think so. In the night, in the middle of the evening. Behind me, there's a coffee shop. Just take my word for it. I mean, the production is something that I nitpick here on the program. But this is a woman who's going to give us an update after it's all said and done.
Got it.
And so let's hear what this story, because this is like an odd story. The man shot it, or pistol whipped his mother and then went crazy. I wonder what his motives are.
Basically, since this scene happened here at 5 p.m. or around 5 p.m., I should say, I talked with the owner. You'll hear from him in just a moment. But this shootout situation didn't start here. It actually started in Fort Meade, where Sheriff Grady Judd says the suspect, 34-year-old Wayne Volz, held his parents hostage at gunpoint. At Volz's parents' house on South Washington this morning, the sheriff says he pistol whipped his mom. And when his dad tried to intervene, he asked him, "Do you want to die today?" Volz held them there all day before going with his dad to the Lowe's in Bartow, where his dad worked. His dad told the workers what was happening, and he called 911. A deputy who responded noticed Volz near Banker's Brew, which is nearby Lowe's, who then started shooting.
What do you think? You think the parents tried to ground this guy? I mean, what the hell? At some point, you got to be. How are you still mad at your parents when you're old?
What's a Banker's Brew?
That's just probably some. I've never heard of it before, but it's probably some Orlando coffee establishment.
Oh, okay.
That's not it's just the name of the coffee shop.
Okay.
Why they'd call it? You know why I think they'd call it that? Because in Orlando, all they have there, outside of the mouse, is just a bunch of banks, like bank buildings, like corporate bank buildings. It's like, hey, Citigroup. Oh, over there's Chase, and then on the bottom it's homeless people all around.
All because they need to put the money from the mouse somewhere, right?
Yeah, that's very true. And I feel like it's the same in San Diego. It's like, you get to a certain point where you work at a bank and now you're some sort of vice president of this or that. You're like, I don't want to live in whatever town I live in. Let me go to Orlando, Florida. Like in the 80s, they were really building up these skyscrapers.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah. Let's see, because this sheriff Grady Judd, he loves the camera. He gets any chance he can get on camera, a high-profile case, he wants to get on there. And sometimes he's a little goofy. So let's see what he says if we get to hear him talk.
She was struck in the forearm, and her cruiser was hit multiple times. A Bartow police officer was also shot in the chest, but thankfully he had on a bulletproof vest that saved his life. The owner of Banker's Brew Coffee says his 3 employees hid in the bathroom and heard up to 20 shots.
Holy crap.
Being that it's Good Friday, life is a vapor. You never know at any point in time something like this can happen, and I would just say you just got to be ready. And as a pastor, I would say, this is probably a good time to give your heart to the Lord if you don't know Him.
Can you pause it? Odd statement after this whole thing. He's the owner of the coffee shop, and he got real and he started smiling. I mean, you could take that out of context, and if I were to ask you what that would have been about, I don't think you would have been like, yeah, this guy's coffee shop got shot up 20 times. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's life's a vapor.
It's good. Very Southern pastor.
Happy Good Friday. As a pastor, got to just every day you got to cherish it. And 20 people shot. No, it's like, do we hear Grady Judd talk at all in this?
Let's see.
None of them were hurt. The officers on scene shot and killed the suspect. He was taken to the hospital but died from his injuries.
And we shot him.
There he is.
A lot. And he won't ever shoot anyone else. He's dead. He asked to be shot and killed, and we obliged him.
All right.
Thanks, Shady Grady. He didn't get silly there. He goes, we shot him.
We shot him a lot.
And he'll never shoot no one again. Shot him good. Shot him dead. Now, I wanted to get into another story in Florida here. So this one was sent in by my pal T-Bone, JoshPotterShow at gmail.com is where you can send in anything, by the way, out there. This is another Florida man. This weird because it's involving a man with a strange name. A man with an oddly incriminating name was arrested after he allegedly threatened Subway employees. This one happens at a Subway sandwich shop. Have you they got those in Branson, Missouri? You must.
Yes, they do. Yes.
Probably a lot of them, right?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And so... Yes, a man had an oddly incriminating name after he was threatened Subway employees with a knife due to their bad attitudes. Sheriff Wayne Ivey of the Brevard County Sheriff's Office announced on Facebook that deputies responded to a Subway restaurant after employees reported a man had threatened them, pulled out a knife per the release. Ivey identified the man as Edward Cocaine.
No.
That's his real name, Edward Cocaine. Is this from the same news station? That'd be
Interesting.
wild. Over the weekend, Cocaine and a friend went to the local Subway for lunch and were trying to place an order, but ultimately got into an argument with the employees over what they believed was their bad attitudes. So this man comes in and he's trying to shape up these employees. They're like, just kind of throwing the meat on the sandwich or whatever.
Yeah.
I've felt that at restaurants myself about people's bad attitudes, Do you ever think that when you go into a place, or have in the past, maybe even when you come, you're coming from the Soviet Union and you're watching people who have a job that they, free willingly pursued, and they have a bad attitude about it. Did that ever make you mad? It made my father mad, and he wasn't from.
I was confused because I remember I started in upstate New York in a hotel. Grossinger's Hotel, where there a lot of good food was there, and I was new in America. And I remember I was working as a bar boy, and there was a lot of bus boys and waiters, and they would go to McDonald's, even though they were given any food there that guests would have, steaks and ribs and whatever, but they would go to McDonald's, which blew my mind because how conditioned they were. They were young guys, and that's what they wanted. It's just McDonald's food. And I couldn't understand it. I mean, you mean there's a steak there, and it's like the guests are paying thousands of dollars to eat there, and you can have that food freely, but you're going to McDonald's, couldn't understand it.
And then you had one, and you're like, I get it now.
Yeah, sugar. It's like they get you hooked on.
What was your first McDonald's experience?
Oh boy, it was in New York, and a friend of mine who is no longer with us, but he invited me to. He said we got to go to McDonald's, and I didn't know what McDonald's was, and
you never even heard of it at that point.
No, interesting. And it was somewhere right in the center of the city. I don't remember, Times Square somewhere. And we walked in, and then he played practical joke on me. He had a pepper spray because in America you can have those. In Russia you couldn't.
Wow.
And he came from Russia, but he got to America before I did. And so he said, watch this, and he sprayed me. And I was like, holy
watch
cow.
This, and he sprayed you with pepper spray?
He didn't know what it does either.
Oh my God, right. I guess not.
No. So my memory of McDonald's, give me French fries, but no pepper, please.
Oh, God. Yeah. I mean, I've been pepper sprayed because I did it to see what it would do. It was like a radio bit. Like I just had we had a cop do it. It wasn't a lady pepper spraying me for anything nefarious. It was a controlled environment experience kind of thing. But I did it. I did it the first time, actually, was because we didn't know what it did either. I was 16, maybe 15. And a friend of ours across the street had pepper spray in his mom's drawer. And he goes, let's do it. And we thought, Jackass at the time was like the epitome of comedy to us. So we thought we would video ourselves getting like pepper spraying ourselves. So we both stood there and were like, shh, right in our own faces. And I was we took the hose from the house and I was under it like crying. I'm like, trying to.
Yeah.
So you're just in McDonald's like.
Yeah. Running to the bathroom. I mean, he was scared. He got scared too. First he was laughing, but then he was like, oh my God, what did I do? But that's, and then I remember when I went to Moscow back, I was doing a Showtime special called Yakov Smirnoff from Moscow, Idaho. So we filmed half of it in Moscow and half of it in Moscow.
That's right.
And I remember one of the bits that we were filming, it was the line to McDonald's. And it was wrapping around 4 blocks, the line to McDonald's. So we got on the roof of the building. They would allow us to film there.
Wow.
And we could see it was like ants were in line to get McDonald's food. That was the first Moscow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they'll do that when like a new one opens up here, I feel like still. But to have it open to the first one there must have been bananas.
Yeah,
That's wild.
Yeah.
May I ask before, because I know you got to go to your set at the down the road there, but what was the first thing that when you got here, I mean, there must have been something that inspired the "What a Country" line. Was there something that sparked it?
It was right here at the Comedy Store, and a lot of my jokes were kind of observational, like baby changing station. So if you don't like your baby, you get a new one right here.
Yeah.
What a country, right?
That's great.
And I kept saying this, and somebody, I don't know the person who it was one of the customers, one of the guests, and I was standing on the back of the original room and or heading down the stairs there, and I remember him kind of hitting me a little, like on the shoulder and going, "What a country, that should be your catchphrase."
Sure.
And I don't know who the person was, and he pointed out, and then the rest I realized how many times I was saying "what a country," and then it became.
That's great.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if there was a moment that when you were here that you were like, you said it to yourself,
I was
in the
saying
first
it
moments.
all the time.
Yeah.
I saw America Loves Smirnoff, and I said, "What a country!"
Yeah.
I mean, I was doing a lot of those things, and then the guy kind of distilled it to that.
That's great.
Phrase. So I'm grateful. If you're watching this podcast, thank you.
Shout out. It's Tom Dreesen out there or something, I hope. But thank you so much again for doing the show. I really appreciate it. I mean,
had a good
absolutely.
time.
I was so excited when I got to hear that you were going to be here.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you're going to be around for a couple of days, and we always want you to come back.
And I'm considering now changing my name from Smirnoff to Cocaine.
Yeah, there you go.
It's much more memorable,
That's
I think.
very true. If you had that name, oh boy. I mean, it could have gone differently in the 80s.
Oh boy, yeah.
I think this guy looks like our producer Lee over here. I wish we had a camera on him. Either way, folks, please watch Yakov's podcast. Tell everyone where they can find it.
It's called Yakov's Comedy Couch, where I sit down with comedians and we talk about laughter and how they started to be funny and what made them really want to pursue this. So that's on YouTube, and you can follow me. My website is yakov.com, and all the, Facebook and Instagram. I was nervous about, Instagram because people follow you. And in the Soviet Union, I didn't want to. So for years, I didn't want to touch Instagram. And now I come to Hollywood and everybody's saying, you got to go viral. And I'm going, I stayed out of that. I tried never get viral. And here I want to be viral.
Yeah, you don't have to lay low anymore. That's and get down to Branson, Missouri if you can to check out the show. Boy, oh boy, that would be awesome. But other than that, folks, make sure you go to thejoshpotter.com. Check out the dates. Just added Chicago, July 13th at the Lincoln Lodge. So get there and get the tickets for that. Hoping to add a second show for that one as well. And other than that, JoshPotterShow@gmail.com. You know where to send the stories. Keep sending them in. They've been fantastic. I love you all very much, and we'll see you next Wednesday right here on The Josh Potter Show. Thank you.
Coming to 11 direct with the Roach. We shotgun the beers, ain't got time for a toast. It's the only place to get my sports like for real, son. He taught us nobody's more sus than Russell Wilson.
Here's the deal, son. Won't find us in Walmart. Josh Potter, keep it frank, kinda like a ballpark. It wasn't nothing talking all that jism. Turns out there's a lot of semen terrorism.
Now it's time we hit him. Bringing Votto to the plate. Roachy, your words with Chase O'Donnell the Great. Let me stop for a second, cause it's Ask Marty time. Cause it's idiocy, you know I cannot abide.
Not a fan of these guys, gonna damage the rise. Worse than the host known as the Roach. Leave an idiot woman standing on the side or looking like she just tripped into a moat.
I'ma kill this Henny beat like murder. Been in more studios than most have ever heard of. Pleased to be listening, hit that like and subscribe. So many Bills hats got the mafia vibe.
A lot to describe like a Roach reporter. Teacher on OF, don't report her. Trying to live life with my mannequin wife and my mannequin kids if that's my mannequin right.
Been a fan of this guy since the Roach Motel. Couple 100 weeks in, still funny as hell. From the tit cups to back sis and blind eyes, Potter has one of the best shows of all time.
Now watch this drive. Pop a couple tall cans with the Roach King and caught the vibe. Ready to pour more, scurry out the floorboards, hit like, comment, and subscribe.